So you obviously you've written a book, Baseball Spy. First impressions, it's you sit down, you think you're going to write a book. What motivates that, and how did you begin to form the plot or even the idea of what you wanted to write about?
Right. So for me, like I always thought it'd be cool to write a book, but the bigger thing was I always had this idea in my head of like if Little League was life or death. And that was like I always thought like it was
Have
the
you been
coolest
to a
thing.
Little League game before? Some of those parents think that,
I
Scott.
know, I know. And I remember thinking that as a kid and feeling that kind of pressure and that kind of heat. And then also, I was always really infatuated with any sports movie that also kind of combined action or spies. And there's not that many. You know, you can think of like there was like that Steven Seagal movie where he's like in the hockey game. I don't know if you guys remember that, like Sudden Death. Yeah, like there's just some random
Oh,
movie.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I always thought it was the coolest thing.
That was
where there was-
Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's where it got me messed up. I was like, I'm
Sorry.
pretty sure Seagal's never been in a hockey
I'm sorry.
movie.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I got
Scott,
my '90s action heroes mixed
I
up.
didn't have much of a life. So movies I know a lot about. So that's the only reason why I do that.
Yeah. Yes. No offense or no disrespect to Jean-Claude. Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, I always like was like fascinated. Like, well, like if there was somehow a way to like combine the results of the game in with like some sort of high stakes life or death situation. And there really was no like book about that. Like you can read all the books in the world about like sports, but like combining like Little League life or death. So the idea always stuck with me. I always felt like I sort of dabbled in writing here and there, but never took it seriously. And then around 2018, I was like really gradually became obsessed with the idea of how to write a book. And so I podcasted nonstop. That's like mowing the yard, working out, cleaning my house, whatever it was. I was always podcasting. I did listen to podcasts called like Middle Grade Ninja was one. Story Grid, like all these different things. It was all about, for me, it was all about story structure. I was really fascinated with how stories were formulated in a way that were like really exciting and like sort of the science behind it. And so I did that for like 2 years, all while I had this idea that I would just sit there and think about, and it was like growing and growing in my head. And then I don't know how long you want me to keep going, but I'll just tell the story. Okay.